First, today, this beautiful day that we've all been able to wake up and greet. I want to say me good to the spirit, our grandfathers, Mishumasananak, Kukumasananak, Tukijimanado, Mede Manado, for once again allowing us to be able to witness this beautiful creation today, and to be able to gather, to come together in this way, to honor one of our little sisters, one of our relatives, Tina Fontaine, who left much too early, much too soon before her time, just like all the others who have left us. I think about all of them because they're all important, and because each and every one's death and murder and missing has affected our community. Not just the family, but right across Turtle Island. And I believe that that happens to all of us. When one is taken, it affects each and every one that walks in this creation among our relatives. And I would think that it also affects those of the people that come here to this land, that make this their home. Tina was just a baby when she was taken. And Tina didn't have justice. Right now, the transition when we leave this earth, there is a transition that happens. This is her nighttime. This is our day, this is her nighttime. And now we think about her and we ask the grandmothers and grandfathers to continue to take care of her in that beautiful place in the universe they call Gwanajaween Gay, that most beautiful, beautiful place. Where it is we go when we leave here. We don't desire to go there before our time, but when our loved ones are taken, we know that is where we work to help them get there by doing this kind of event and remembering them and honoring them and the way that we are today. I look around and I see creation, how beautiful it is, and I give thanks to Grandfather Sun that we call Madegi Zis. I think about that grandmother moon, Nibagi Zis Nokomis. She too travels the nighttime. And we know together they ensure that all of creation will flow, that all of life will continue. I think about the water at that third level, that Medewabu, and all those spirit grandmothers who look after that water with the promise that forever that water would flow so that we might have life here in this creation. I give thanks to Grandmother Moon, who looks after the waters in this physical realm. She is the grandmother of all grandmothers, and we honor her. I want to think about the children all through creation, not just here, but all through the world, who are suffering. I want to think about the women, the old people. All across the world, there are people that are suffering. But I always want to bring it home here to Canada, this place that we love and we call home, this place where it is that our women, Indigenous women, have to be scared to walk the streets. We have to be afraid where our granddaughters go, where our grandsons go. It's not right and it's not okay. Tina's death brought forward so much for us, but it shouldn't have happened. We should not have had to lose her in order for systems to move, to protect and take care of. I always think about so much when I'm asked to do an opening, to say a prayer. How do I speak to Creator? What is it that I say to Gijamanado, to the grandmothers and grandfathers who walked this land 7 generations ago? That's still today, our women are going missing. Our women are being murdered. It's not okay. And the Creator knows that it's not okay. The grandmothers and grandfathers know that it's not okay. But today we celebrate and honor her, but we think about all the other ones as well. We think about all of them. And I ask in a good way that Creator to bless their families, those ones, the children that have been left. I think about the 4 women that we've gone to court for, and that the verdict that is coming on the 28th of August. I think about those ones as well. We cannot leave anyone out. It's important. It is really important that they all be remembered and honored in the way that we want them to be honored. And it is our people who do that. Whether we are First Nation, whether we are Métis, whether we are Inuit, we are the ones that do it. Nobody else is going to do it for us. It is only us that can do that work for them. So I ask the Creator to bless each and every one of you. I hope your life is good, that your families are safe. I think about each and every one who could not come here today for whatever reason, and I ask for blessings for them as well. I give thanks for this tobacco, this sacred medicine, offering it to the beautiful drum and the song that was sung, most beautiful. Sekuchi miigwech to Kwewak for standing up, doing that work for us. I give thanks for this sacred monument that is here, and the grandmothers, those rocks that are taking their place there and looking after all of that. There is so much to be grateful for. I give thanks for life today, because all we want is life, good life, minobimadzuin. That is all we ask, for good life and to be safe. We want that for our children. We want that for our girls and our women and our boys and our men as well. So I give, and that's the way I want to come today, and giving thanks for this beautiful day. And I say miigwech for this sema, and say ajawem nishnam gajanamanado. Ajawem nishnam gajanamanado. Ajawem nishnam gajanamanado. Ajawem nishnam gajanamanado. Miigwech ni kanagana. Miigwech. Oh.
Miigwech, Elder Morso. So today is a very difficult day. A long time has passed, 10 years since Tina left this world to the spirit world, and she's brought so much good to the world in her leaving. It's a somber day. And it's also a time to acknowledge all the good that she's done. We have a number of speakers for this morning, and then we will have some light refreshments that we'll be providing after this formal portion. At this time, I'd like to invite the Honorable Tina Fontaine, Minister of Families, to share some words about today's announcement.
If folks are wanting to come closer, you are more than welcome. There's so much room up here and on the side as well. There's still a couple of seats as well. So first and foremost, I want to acknowledge the drum, and for the women that opened us up in a good way today with that beautiful song, that honoring song. I want to say miigwech to Thelma for opening us up in a good way with your prayer and reminding us what we're grateful for, and that we are, as Indigenous peoples, the agents of our own transformative change. And so I honor you so much for your words. I want to acknowledge all of the MMIWG2S families that are here with us. Jerry, Corley, Nikki, anyone else that I'm missing, all of the MMIWG2S families, this day is in honor of you, and I acknowledge each and every one of you. I want to acknowledge all of our partners that are doing really incredible, critical work in our community. Those that are on the front lines of offering shelter to women, girls and gender diverse folks that are leaving unsafe situations, those that are in our women's resource centers, those that are working with children in care. This is really important work collectively that we do together. This work is never just about one person or one agency. It is a collective that we are doing, all of us together. So I lift each and every one of you up that is doing that really important work. I also want to acknowledge Elder Sandra Delarant, who's here with us. There's a seat up here if you want. I want to acknowledge my colleagues. And let me just say this. Most of the time when I speak, I try to go really fast. I'm actually going to take my time today. So everybody buckle in. We'll be here for a little while. No, I'm just joking. But I am going to take my time. I want to acknowledge my colleagues, our NDP colleagues, our government, our NDP government. I want to start by acknowledging Minister Bernadette Smith, my soul sister and colleague who have been doing this work together for so long, and an MMIWG2S family member. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Minister Smith is the first MMIWG2S family member ever elected across the country. And in this role, she has done transformative work. And I want to acknowledge that it's such an honor to work with Minister Smith. I have a list of all of our folks here, but I don't know where that list went. Oh, here we go. I want to acknowledge Minister Ian Bushy, Minister Renee Cable, Minister Tracy Schmidt, Minister Matt Wiebe, MLA Billy Cross, MLA Jolynn De La Cruz, MLA Mike Moyes, MLA Mark Wassulu, MLA Mintu Sandhu, MLA Rochelle Schott, MLA Logan Oxenham, MLA David Pankhurst, MLA Nellie Kennedy, MLA Amanda Laughlin, and MLA Tyler Blaschko. Again, I think that it was important for our team to be up here as well because, again, this is a priority for our government and this is a work that we do across government departments and that everybody has ensured that they are committed to doing this transformative work. August 9th, 2014, Tina Fontaine went missing. And we know that on August 10th, Tina Fontaine was likely murdered and taken from us. Why I chose this location today is because the monument, and I call her or she, was actually installed and unveiled on April 12th, 2014. Minister Smith was there, Jerry was there, Corley was there. We had almost about 500 people that came out for the unveiling of the MMIWG2S monument, which, by the way, was the first monument anywhere dedicated to MMIWG2S across the country. August 17th, Tina Fontaine's little body was found and pulled from the Red River. August 19th, a vigil was organized and a memorial was organized for right here, which saw thousands of people come out as a testament and a show of solidarity, but also to ensure that the public knows and that the family knows that Tina Fontaine's life mattered, that she mattered, that she was valued, that she was loved. It was a show of support on that day. But something else also happened around that time that every opportunity that Minister Smith and I have, that we have an opportunity to talk about this, that I always highlight. I believe it was it was April 17th, perhaps, August 18th or August 17th, the Winnipeg Police Service held a press conference to announce that Tina Fontaine's body had been found. And something quite extraordinary happened in that press conference that I don't know if most people appreciate. but it set in motion a variety of different things. Sergeant John O'Donovan was the lead investigator on the Tina Fontaine file. And in his press conference, he had responded to a question from the media. And in there he said, this was a baby, this was a child. She had not been in the city for very long, and she was exploited and murdered. And he said, this was a child. And he said, as society, he says, we should be enraged. And what that did was it humanized, and not that we should have needed this, but it humanized this baby. It humanized Tina. You know, only 11 years earlier, almost in the same place that Tina Fontaine's little body was found, the body parts of Felicia Solomon Osborne were found and washed ashore. And the very next day, when Felicia Solomon Osborne's 16 years old, from R.B. Russell School, the very next day, one of the media outlets on the front page, the headline was prostitute with gang ties murdered. None of that was true. But that's the way that Indigenous women for generations and generations are constructed. So that even in our murder, even in the most grotesque, savage levels of violence perpetrated against our bodies, we are blamed for the violence. We are blamed as if we brought that on ourselves. And so 11 years later, when we had Sergeant O'Donovan say that we should all be enraged, we saw the work, the blood, sweat, and tears of family members that had been planting the seeds within the public consciousness for generations, so that when her little body was found, all of that seeds contributed to this outpouring of love and grief and support for Tina Fontaine. And so when Elder Thelma talks about that Tina, in many respects, is representative of all MMIWG2S families, or missing and murdered, and their families, and that we shouldn't forget about all of our loved ones, because they all equally mattered and were loved and deserved justice. They were here. It's not like they weren't here. They were a part of our communities, a part of our families, a part of our nations. They deserve to be recognized, and we as a government deserve to do the work and must do the work in order to prioritize the protections of Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirited. About 3 years ago, I was in Saugeen, and I ran into Thelma. We were both at the grave site. I was there visiting my grandfather. She happened to be there visiting, which I also always go and visit Tina and lay tobacco. And she was at Tina's grave site. And so 3 years ago, I remember making her a promise. I said, at the 10-year anniversary, Thelma, I said, I will organize something in the city at the monument in honor of Tina. I didn't know where we would be. And here we are, 10 years later. You know, I talked about the vigil that was organized. That vigil was organized by Indigenous men. It was organized by Kevin Settee, Negan Sinclair, and Premier Wab Kinew. And so look at us 10 years later, where we stand in respect of government and the priorities that we have, but also look at where we stand 10 years later as a province and as a country. We only just saw a mere 10 months ago a political party that stated that had their whole campaign, their whole election campaign on the backs of murdered Indigenous women. And Manitobans rejected that. and we're so grateful that Manitobans stood in solidarity. And so today, I have kept my promise to Thelma and the family of Tina Fontaine, and I'm happy to announce that today, I am pleased to announce an investment of almost $1 million to Tina's Safe Haven, a 24-hour drop-in center run by Nidinaway for youth aged 13 to 24. This funding will support operations and programming at Tina's Safe Haven, including counseling support, program mentors, resources, and healthcare from an Indigenous-led perspective with a focus on relationship building. $586,000 in provincial funding to support operating and programming costs at Tina's Safe Haven. This funding includes $400,000 in new funding from our Budget 2024 commitment of $20 million to protect and empower Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirited peoples. It includes $400,000 provided through our National Action Plan to End Gender-Based Violence that will enable Tina Safe Haven to partner with Aboriginal Health and Wellness, which I have visited, to be able to provide that frontline on-site health care to some of the most vulnerable youth and marginalized youth on-site. And this will allow public healthy nursing at Tina Safe Haven, including a cultural worker and mental health therapist. Again, I just want to say where we have come as a province from 10 years from 10 years ago. We've come, I know that we still have an incredible amount of work still to do collectively. But I want to honor the work that we have all collectively done and reiterate our government's commitment to prioritizing Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirited, their protections, and ensuring that Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirited have every single opportunity that everybody else in our province and our country has. Miigwech. That's it.
Today is a really difficult day for me. I am struggling for words because so many things about this day make me reflect on 10 years ago. And I recall 10 years ago being with Minister Fontaine on the banks of the Red River with Chili Dog 2, offering prayers for change, prayers for Tina and her beautiful travels. And, you know, it was amazing. It prompted so many amazing things. You know, I at the time was the executive director of Onashawawan, and I worked with young people in conflict with the law. And I saw the damage of the child welfare system, and I saw how our young Indigenous children were disproportionately in conflict with the law, and how systems were failing our children. And, you know, it motivated me to want to do different things. And I think back now, 10 years later, as the minister had just mentioned, that in 10 years, a lot of change has happened. And never would I have thought that I would be here. I was always kind of a grassroots activist working in nonprofit organizations, working to help our people. And, you know, at the time, the province was not my friend. And I would never imagined that I would be here now as the Special Advisor on Indigenous Women's Issues and the Secretary to the MMIWG and Gender-Based Violence Committee of Cabinet. If you asked me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, there would be no way. And now I'm oh so proud to be part of this government and all the changes that are coming. You know, I think about Ndenaway, and when I was in university, I worked for Ndenaway, and it gave me so much understanding of realities for our young people. And, you know, they were an amazing place. People did good work, and they did it from their hearts, and they wanted to create change. And it seems like there's all of these elements of change that have been trying to create and curb all of the hard things that are happening for our people. And what I am excited about is Manitoba investing over $20 million into creating that change and working together, and to have, you know, so many Indigenous people within the provincial government is exciting. And I know that in 10 years there's been changes. Bear Clan, there was a resurgence. The First Nation Family Advocate came about in behalf of Tina Fontaine, and there were so many other community groups that came together to create protection for our women and girls and two-spirited individuals. And so now we're really going to ramp things up and have more exciting things to share in the coming months. So it's very exciting for me. And I would like to now invite Shanley Scott up to speak about the great work that Ndenaway is doing with Tina's Safe Haven, and that is just one more example of, you know, the legacy of Tina Fontaine.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here today, Minister Fontaine. Thank you for your support. Today's announcement is overwhelming. The fact that it comes on a day that we're thinking about Tina in a very special way, remembering her legacy, is even more meaningful. So thank you for that. I want to talk a little bit about the history of Ndenaway, and certainly it started way before I had the honor of being involved. And there's been a lot of mention already about the power of community and the power of coming together and working together. And that is how Ndenaway Maganog Endawad came to be, was based on the power of community, recognizing that the issue of exploitation was an issue that we as Indigenous people needed to address. And so that's the birth of Ndenaway. And after the tragic demise of our dear little sister Tina, her family gifted us the name Tina's Safe Haven. And I think for me, that was a reminder that our lovely young woman, even in death, the power of her voice and the need for ongoing change. So I'm honored to be part of that work, but we can't do that work alone. We need collaboration, we need support. I recall a conversation that I had with Lorna Hansen from the Child Protection Branch close to 4 years ago. And it was at a time when we weren't funded in a really great way at Tina's Safe Haven. And I remember saying to her, Lorna, we're going to do this work with or without support, because that's what we have to do. That's our responsibility to our community. And so now to sit here amongst all of you with support from our government, both the federal and, more importantly, provincial government, that's profound, that's meaningful. And I want to acknowledge our sister organizations, our partners in this hard heart work that we're doing. Minister Fontaine mentioned the partnership with Aboriginal Health and Wellness. Della's my sister. You speak about Minister Smith as your soul sister. That's how I feel about Della and the work that they do. And I'm so honored to have this opportunity to serve our community alongside her in such a good way. And of course, there are many more organizations that do similar work. We need all of us. We need all of us to do this hard work. So I just want to extend my gratitude to all of the folks here in attendance today. Of course, my gratitude to the government. And I just want to acknowledge that this work, this is not an Indigenous issue. The genocide against our women and girls, that's a human issue. So regardless of who we are, we all have a responsibility to speak up and say no more. As a mom of 2 beautiful daughters myself, I can't imagine the heartbreak that this would be. It's painful as just a relative at arm's length. But if it was my beautiful girls, I don't think I could bear it. So please, I implore all of you to speak out, do the work that needs to be done. It's a gift that we've been given thanks to the voice of our beautiful little sister, Chimikwich.
Thank you, Shanley. We also have a message that was sent from the family, and they wanted it to be read today. The family is having an event tomorrow in Saging First Nation that will start at 10 a.m. and it's open to everyone. So if anyone would like to attend, they're welcome to. But they've sent the message that they are going to deliver tomorrow as well, and I'm just going to read it on their behalf. Today I say goodbye to my sweet angel, but I will never forget the sound of her laugh and when her face lit up when she smiled. She knew how much she was loved and still is, because everyone that knew her knew the real Tina. So be happy and be at peace, my sweet girl. You now live in our hearts and our memories, and no one can ever take that away. The shadows of the past are the light of tomorrow. I believe that is Tina. I believe that that is what Tina wanted me to say. When Tina was taken from us, she wasn't getting started with her life, but then she became known as the face of change. She tells her story through me, but sometimes it's not clear on what she wants. It takes a little time to fully understand what she is saying. But I did see the light start to fade from her beautiful eyes. Her heart no longer beat. I held on to her life for 10 long, agonizing years, because when she died, part of me died also. Now she wants me to let go, let her be at peace, and for me to go on with my life. I turned my back on everyone and everything, but she wants me to continue living and be happy with my beautiful family. I don't know where to begin living my life again, but I have Tina to show me the way, and also with me the love and support I have from my family. Be at peace, my sweet girl. You now live with angels. And that is from Thelma Favel and Marilyn Cushing. So that concludes our speaking for today. And we're just going to ask the Southern Thunderbird Medicine Drum Group to close us off in a good way. Miigwech.